Ma'am,
Good morning, everybody. Today we are going to start with a new topic because yesterday we have started about new product development, and today we are going to start with product life cycle. Okay. So, in yesterday's class, let us do a quick recap of what we have studied yesterday. See, these are the steps which are involved in new product development process. That means the first step was idea generation and screening. The next step was concept development and testing. Then marketing strategy, then business analysis, product development, test marketing, and commercialization. Right? In idea generation, we have studied that these are the sources from which the idea can be generated, whether we have some internal sources, customers, competitors, distributors, suppliers, anybody can become a source of idea for a new product development. After that, we have studied idea screening. In idea screening, we have studied that market size, product price, developmental time and cost, manufacturing cost, and rate of return impact our idea screening, or we just want to remove the unwanted ideas and take the good ideas which can be implemented. Then we have studied concept development and testing. In concept development and testing, the first thing is you have to develop the product ideas into different alternatives, and then you have to test the product concept, which can be which is the best one. Choose the best one which can be implemented successfully. After that, we have seen that there are three kinds of strategies. The first is overall strategy, then you have short term strategy, and you have long term strategy. When we talk about overall strategy, we are talking about your target market, we are talking about product positioning, sales and profit goals, and market share. And in short term goals, we are talking about product price, distribution, marketing budget. And in part three, we are talking about long term goals, like what are your profit goals and what is your marketing mix strategy, right? Finally, we have seen that you have to keep your marketing plans in line with the business goals. And if you get a green signal from the business, overall business development division, then you can move towards the new product development, and then you can go for screening or testing of your product, right? So now we are going to start with product life cycle. Okay. Now this is a diagram of product life cycle in which we are going to understand that what are the various phases a product goes through when it is introduced in the market, right? So this is the x-axis. X-axis depicts time, okay, and y-axis, which is the vertical one, the horizontal one is the x-axis in which time is being noted down, and in y-axis, which is the horizontal one, sales and profits are being measured, right? So that means if a graph is touching heights, the sales and profits are going above. If the graph is coming down or declining, the sales and profit is coming down. So if you can see a lighter line, a orangish line, right? That line is starting after some point. So this point that you show in the slide, that is seen in the slide, this point is basically for product development or marketing research. Whenever you launch a new product, there has to be some marketing research or new product development research. So that's why product life cycle is being started from this stage, not this stage, right? Is this point clear why product life cycle is starting from here? Because initially we are going for product development, product screening, product testing, all these things we are doing, right? So once let us first consider the orange line first. As you can see that the line is gradually going above. That means this is the introduction stage. You have introduced the product. Now you are applying some promotional strategies. You are making advertisements, digital media ads, and slowly and gradually you are picking up the pace, and the sales and profit are being increased. right? The next phase is called as growth phase. Now, this phase is uh, a happier phase for a marketer because here, if you can see, the curve is going above in a very fast rate or in a very rigorous manner as compared to the introduction phase. Here, the slope of the graph is very less. Here, the slope is very high, right? So the product is moving ahead with a great pace in the growth phase because in growth phase, uh, everybody knows about the product. The product is actually successful, and the company is successful in increasing the market share. People are consuming this product and are happy with this product. That's why the sales and profit is being continuously increasing in the growth phase. Now let us talk about the next phase, which is called as maturity phase. So everything cannot persist in market forever. It has to come down, right? So here this is the maturity phase. If you can see, the graph has reached a peak. After reaching the peak, the graph is now slowly and gradually moving down. So in maturity phase, basically your sales and profit comes down, right? This graph can be stabilized if at this point of time you understand and implement those marketing strategy which can stabilize the sales in the maturity phase. You have to understand the reason why your sales are declining, whether it is competitor, any new competitor has come, whether it is technology, whether it is change in the taste and preferences of customers. What is the reason why your sales is declining, right? You can control the graph of your product at this point of time. If you do not control it, if you do not take corrective actions, then the sales is going to go down very rigorously, and finally the product is going to be extinguished from the market. So this is the decline phase. Okay. What does the decline phase tells you? Decline phase tells you that your product is actually going down and going out of the market. So that is called as decline phase. Okay, so this is about a general normal product life cycle. Every product goes through these kind of product life cycles, right? Now, the second graph, which is purple in color, right? This graph is going somewhere around, right? Why this graph is different? Because this graph is starting from the point zero. Why this is starting from point zero? Because they have uh, either incurred a lot of money in the product development, or they are skipping the product development or marketing research and directly going to the introduction phase. If any company is directly going to an introduction phase without any marketing research, then there is high probability that that product can fail in the market, because marketing is all about satisfying the customer needs and making the product according to the needs of the company. If you are not doing it, you can go down like this, right? So here you can see that the growth phase is very limited and the profits are very less as compared to the normal product life cycle graph, right? Here you can see if the orange graph, the profits are somewhere here. If you see the purple graph, the profits are somewhere here. So there is a gap in the sales and profit only because of the lack of marketing research activities or high high cost inclusion in the product development, so that you are left with no money for promoting the product. After a very small growth phase, there is a steep decline in the sales and profit. We have maturity stage, which is also declining, and there is also a huge difference between the profits here. And then you are declining much early as compared to the normal products, which goes through the traditional method of going for the product research first and then going for the introduction, right? So here they are declining much early as compared to the orange graph that you are seeing.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, how this product development is can be negative? Like if we go below y-axis, then the negative y-axis comes na from the center of the point.
Uh,
Then why is it possible that the product development can be negative?
yes, it is possible. See, what is this? What is this? This line, vertical lines telling you
Y-axis it is.
y-axis as sales and profits,
Yes, ma'am.
and this is losses,
Yes, ma'am.
right? If you have not introduced the product in the market, you are not going to get profit, no? Once you are going to sell the product, then only you are going to get profit. If you are investing a lot of money in the product development process also, till here they have not introduced the product. Introduction means product launch, right? So what happens is that they have invested so much money in the marketing research, right? Or they are just skipping this part only. What happens is that they are not left with any money for promotion, and because nobody knows the product, so there is a very small introduction line, right? And there are no profits, but they are going on losses, because once you have produced the product and the inventory is there in the retail stores, nobody is buying it, so definitely it is going in negative. For example, if you have a FMCG product which has a very small shelf life, right? For example, your product can survive for 7 to 8 days only, and nobody is taking this product, then that product is going in junk. Nobody is taking it. So definitely you are having losses here. Nobody is taking your product. But if you go the traditional way, if you go for marketing research, then you improve, uh, then you promote your product, and then slowly and gradually your product picks up. Here the sales is increasing. Here there is no sales. Nobody knows about your product, right? Nobody is taking your product. If nobody is taking your product, you are not getting your profits. If you are not getting profits, that means you are having losses. You are having losses means it is going in the negative direction. Is it clear now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now let's move to the next slide. Now let's talk about the introduction stage. In introduction stage of the product life cycle, we have sales. The sales are actually low. Why the sales are low? Because the product is new. You are introducing the product. The product is not very well, people are not very well aware of your product. Cost, high cost per customer. Why high cost per customer? Because now you have just started with the marketing process. Once you are established in the market, then you start taking benefits from the customers. But initially, when you have just invested in the market, just started in the market, the cost which is beared by a company per customer is high, right? Because you have to keep your prices low so that the customer can take it. Initially, only if you take very high prices from the customer, nobody is going to welcome your product. For example, when Geo was for example, when Geo was introduced in the market, what was happening was, nobody knew about the product. It was a new product to the market, and the prices were also less, right? Very less. So, when Geo was giving free internet connections and free calling facilities to the customers, they were having, they were taking a lot of cost per customer. So, high cost per customer was there, but now they are established in the market, they have a huge market share. Now I think they are incurring a lot of profit from all the customers. When we talk about profits, profits are negative or very less because you are new in the market. You are slowly and gradually establishing yourself in the market. What are your marketing objectives? Your marketing objectives is basically to create the product awareness, right? So here you just want to make people aware of the product that you have, and this is the only marketing objective. You just want to aware, inform the people that we are here in the market, and please take our product, please use the product. You are giving free samples, free trials, you are using all the strategies to make people aware about your product. Then we have product, offer a basic product. See, slowly and gradually you make changes in the product, but initially you offer a basic product. Once your basic product is successful, you are in a position to do more research and more different variants of a product. Then you do, but initially you have limited budget, you don't know whether your product is going to be successful or not. So here you offer a basic product, right? Who is going to serve the basic need of the customer. Then afterwards, in maybe growth or maturity stage, you can introduce some new variants or different types of product, different changes in the product so that people welcome it more. Then we talk about price. So here we use cost plus pricing generally in the introduction stage. Generally means I'm talking about most of the brands. They use cost plus pricing means they add a very little profit and then they introduce the product. Because when you are new in the market, nobody knows you. You have different competitors. People have trust in different brands. So cost is the only thing that is going to attract a customer, either cost or very rigorous promotional strategies, right? If your cost is less, then only the customer can take a pain to buy your product. Next is distribution. You build selective distribution. Selective distribution, why? Because you have limited funds. You cannot just go and cover each and every part of the market. So maybe you will put your products or showcase your products the areas in which the probability of sales is high, the footfall is high, right? The population is high. Next is advertising. Build product awareness among early adopters and dealers, right? So you are going to start with the advertising in the introduction phase, and that too you are going for informative advertising in which you are just informing the people that your product has been launched. The next stage that we are going to talk about is called as growth phase. Now, what is this growth phase? Here, when we talk about sales, the sales is rapidly rising. Let's go back to the graph and see sales and profit. So when we talk about growth stage, you will see that the sales is rapidly rising as compared to the introduction stage, right? The sales is rapidly rising because up till here we were introducing our product. Now the product has been nicely introduced to all the people. They are using it and they are also telling their friends and family that we are liking this product, you also please take this product. It's a nice product, right? So this is a stage where sales is rapidly rising, companies having a lot of profit. When we talk about cost per customer has come down because we have incurred some profit from the people. Then we have profits are also rising continuously. Marketing objectives, basic marketing objective is to maximize the market share, right? So we are maximizing the market share here. Then product, when we talk about product, you offer product extensions, service and warranty. See, when I talk about product extensions, I'm talking about different varieties of product, right? When I say different varieties of product means, um, for example, the example I can remember is of Harpic right now because I was watching an ad yesterday and they have introduced a floor cleaner also, right? So that floor cleaner is a product extension of that toilet cleaner, which is going to help that host product do its job better. Or these are like kind of complementary products that you can use together, right? So this is basically a product extension, right? Or a product extension can be uh, just giving a different variant of product to give customer a variety. For example, Atta Maggi is an example of product extension, right? Some people are health conscious, so instead of taking that refined flour, they can have atta noodles, a healthy variant of that particular product, right? So this is called as product extension. Why the customer, why the marketer is doing that? Because now they are having profits. Now they can afford to do changes in the product. Now they can afford to invest in the product and invest in the marketing research so that they come up with the product. For example, Maggie must have gone for some marketing research, and from that they have got an idea that people are not liking that it is made of refined flour, so maybe some healthy variant should be introduced. So that's how Atta Maggi was being introduced, right? So this is called as product extensions. That means doing some changes in the product or introducing some variants in the product so that whichever customers are not liking the product start liking your product and start taking the product. Then you have service warranty. From initially in introduction stage, we were giving basic product to the customer, right, to fulfill their basic needs. Here we are talking, we are giving them warranty, guarantee, after sale services, free installation, all these kind of services we are giving because now we can afford for these all things. The next point is price to penetrate the market. Here also it depends on the marketer that marketer wants to change the price or not. If the marketer want, they can increase the price also. But here because they are in the growth stage and company is not a very well established company, it is better to keep the prices same and increase the market share. Next is distribution. Build intensive distribution. Intensive distribution means earlier it was selective distribution in introduction stage. Now we are talking about intensive distribution means earlier in introduction stage we were distributing the product where the footfalls were high. But here we are talking about intensive means we are covering almost all the distribution channels where the product can be successful. We are going to each and every corner, each and every region, and we want to cover all the areas where the target market is residing. So, to increase the market share. Next is advertising, build awareness and interest in the mass market. See, in introduction, you go for informative advertising. In growth, you basically go for informative plus persuasive advertising. So, in persuasive advertising, you are positively influencing people to use your particular product, right? So, that is called as growth phase of the product life cycle. Then, let's talk about the maturity stage of the product life cycle. See, when we talk about maturity stage, so here let's go back to the graph and let's see how the maturity stage looks like. So this is how the maturity stage looks like. There will come a peak and then your sales is going to decline gradually, right? So these are the basic features of the maturity stage. Now let's come to the slide and let's see that how it goes, right? How the maturity stage will be will be there, right? So when we talk about sales, the sales will be at the peak, right? We have seen the graph. The sales was at the peak at one point of time, but then it gradually starts to come down. Then we talk about cost. Cost, low cost per customer, right? Low cost per customer. Why? Because we have now reached our highest sales potential. People are welcoming the product, taking the product. Even people have used the product a lot. Now they are looking for some new kind of a brand or they are looking for some change, right? Then we have profits, high profits. So highest profits are there in the maturity stage, right? If anybody asks you which is the stage of the product life cycle which give you highest profit, so the peak is in the maturity stage. Okay. Now the next is marketing objectives. Maximize the profit while defending the market share. What is the marketing objective? The basic marketing objective is maximize the profit, right? Maximizing profit is the basic marketing objective everywhere. But here we are talking about defending the marketing share. Can anybody explain why we are talking about defending the marketing share, not extending the marketing share? Why it is defending?
Defending here means to like save it, right?
Save it, right? So why we are saving it?
Ma'am, so that we can use it later on, like.
Okay. Or anybody else wants to say something? Okay. So why we are defending the marketing share? Because up till now, some competitor has come and some competitor has entered into the market. So now I am competing with the products which are already established. I am competing with the products who other companies are launching, and that too of less cost and high features, right? So that's why I am defending my marketing share, because I am here, I am competing with the people who are already there as my competitors, as well as the products who have been launched, the new products that have been launched in response to my product. Because when I am in growth stage and when I am in maturity stage, I am having a lot of profits. When I am taking a lot of profits, this gives an inspiration to other people, my competitors, that if my product is working well, then different kind of companies are going to come up with these kind of products, right? For example, one app was very famous in iPhone. If you have heard of, I do not remember that app. You can change the face and you can make that person sing, and you using the expressions that you can make that person sing or dance or do these kind of things. So that application was earlier available in iPhones, and that application was very successful. It was not available on the Android platforms. After just 30 or 40 days of time, I have seen that app or videos coming on the Android platforms also. So earlier, iPhone platform was so famous because it was having some different kind of features. But the Android companies which are competing with the iPhone, they are also coming up with the same ideas and inspiration. They are getting the insights from the market that okay, people are liking this thing. Okay, we are going to launch that. So they are launching that. So if you want to take an Android phone, and you will easily get that application on the Play Store, right? So this is how competitive the market is, and this is how fast the market is growing, right? If any product is successful, you will see 3 or 4 variants coming up in the market within 2 or 3 months of time. So I want to maximize my profit, and I want to defend my market share. That means I want to keep the people who are consuming my product be loyal to my product. Do not switch on to other product. That's how I will be able to maximize my sorry, I will be able to stabilize my curve, because I do not want my curve to go down, right? There are other strategies also that a marketer can use if they want to stabilize the curve. Let's go back to the graph so that I can explain you. I do not want my graph to go down at this point at maturity stage, right? I want to stabilize it. So there are various factors which bring my graph down. These factors can be competitors, these factors can be technology, right? For example, I am not upgrading my technology as per the contemporary needs of the customer. For example, Kodak is a very classic example of this. Kodak was using reels, and people were moving to digital photo clicking and taking photos, and Kodak was not able to cope up with this new technology, and that's why it is extinguished from the market, right? So you have to keep changing the type of technologies you use in your product, especially if you are dealing in any kind of a electronics or digital product, right? For example, if I talking about, if you have heard of BPL washing machines, right? BPL washing machines were not able to make fully automatized washing machine up till the time Samsung came up, LG came up. They came up with fully automatic washing machines in which you do not have to just dip your hand. You just have to keep your clothes, put down the washing powder, and then just close it and forget it, right? So these were automatic washing machines which various companies have multinational companies had come up with, and BPL was not able to compete with those international brands at time, and that's why we have seen a decline in the curve of BPL. It's an Indian company, right? So at that point of time, if BPL has also introduced automatic washing machine or things like that, it would be a very successful brand, because it is an Indian brand giving products at very low price as compared to Samsung and other multinational companies, right? So at this point, very crucial point, when you see that your sales are declining, a marketer has to immediately find out the reasons why is it happening. You have to go for a marketing research and find out that what is the reason, whether it is a competitor. Okay, my competitor is giving low prices, let me put my prices down. My competitor is using no technology, new technology, let me introduce this technology. Whatever you sense that these are the reasons of why your sales is going down, do those changes in the market and do all the efforts to stabilize your graph as far as possible, right? So that you can ignore this phase of decline, you can avoid this phase of decline. Next point is product. Diversify product and models. So what I'm doing is, in my product I want to diversify. Diversify means uh, using different kind of products or using different variants of products, brands and models. For example, cars, you can see different kind of cars, premium cars, in a simple model you will see different variants. For example, if you are going for a Honda City, you will get a cheaper variant and a expensive variant also. These variants will be Honda City, but they'll be having different kind of features. If you will take a expensive variant, it will open it from the roof and different kind of facilities that product is going to give you. So diversification is very important, is doing something different is very important. If the Maggie would have been not come up with different kind of flavors, different kind of variants, it would have been gone from the market, because there are a lot of competitors. If you remember, Ranveer Singh was doing this ad of Hakka noodles or something like that. So competitors are there, and in compared to those competitors, Maggie is also bringing the new flavors and new kind of things, so that uh, people like that particular brand and do not switch to the other brands. Okay, let's move further. Then we have price. Okay, when we talk about price to match or best competitors, so whatever competitors you have, whatever price they are giving for a particular product, you should be competitive of that. You can notice it whenever you will go to a supermarket, and you will notice or compare the two brands. They will be approximately of equal price. I mean, if you are taking 100 gram of a Colgate or 100 gram of closer, right, they will have almost same prices, just a difference of 1 rupee, 2 rupee, 5 rupees maximum, not more than that, right? If you are taking two different kind of soaps, right, they may have very little difference in their price. As far as they offer same features, right? You cannot offer a female soap and a male soap. That's what I'm talking about. So price should be match of your competitor, the best competitor. Distribution, build more intensive distribution. Now you want to reach every small village and rural area where you do not have your outlets. You want to make your outlets, you want to make your product available everywhere. Then you have advertising, stress brand differences and benefits, right? So you, here the advertising changes at maturity stage. You are telling people that uh, you know what is the different features that your brand is giving or your product is giving, how your product is different from others, what are the benefits that you are giving and your competitor is not giving. And specifically, the companies which are very classic legend companies, they are using emotional advertising. When I talk about emotional advertising, they want to emotionally attach themselves, the brand image with the customer. If you will see the Raymond ad, or if you will see the Tanishq ad, right? These are the companies which are classic legend companies. These companies are successful in stabilizing the graph of maturity, and they have not gone into decline, because now they know that they are not going into decline, because there are some people who are very very loyal to that brand. Why? Because they are doing emotional branding. They want their customers to get emotionally attached to their particular brand, right? And then finally we have the decline stage of the product life cycle. When we talk about the decline stage of the product life cycle, the sales is declining. We have seen that it is going down. Then let's talk about the cost. Low cost per consumer. Now we have some profits. Now we have some money in the piggy bank of ours, because now we are, we have seen the growth phase, and we have seen the peak of sales also. So now we have some amount of funds. Next, we have profits. The profits are definitely declining because you are going down. Decline stage comes when you are not able to control at the maturity stage, when you are not attentive enough, aware enough, or successful enough to stabilize that graph. Then only the decline stage comes. Okay, profits are declining, marketing objectives are reduced expenditure, and milk the brand. Milk the brand means now when the sales are declining very rigorously, now you are very rigorously trying to stand up in the market, but there are so many competitors, and there is so much hassle happening in the market that you are not able to stand up again. Generally, when you enter in the decline stage, you just keep going down whatever you do. Product, phase out the weak items. So the products which are not working in the market, the products which are not liked by the customers, it is better to take these products off from the market. Cut prices if they can do some wonders. Cut the prices at decline stage. Then go for selective distribution. Take out the products from the unprofitable outlets. Means there are some areas in which people are not taking your product. Maybe if you have an electronics product in rural areas, people are not taking that product. Take that product out from the rural areas. Advertising, reduced to the level needed to retain the hardcore loyal customers. So advertising, you keep it at a bare minimum level where people, you can keep up with the loyal customers that you have, right? So that is called as decline stage of the PLC. After the decline stage, you are finally extinguished from the market. You are gone from the market. So the only stage where you can control your sales to stabilize the graph is the maturity stage. The once you get your sales peak, and once you see that your graph is coming down, you have to stabilize it at that particular point of time only, to control the sales of the product, or to control the product going down, right? So that's it about the product life cycle. If you have any confusions or any doubt in PLC, we can discuss it right away.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am,
Yes, Vijay.
I was not able to take 2 days classes. So, ma'am, can you upload that PDF?
Definitely I'll do. Okay, so I am taking the attendance now. Bindu is
Present, ma'am.
present. Riya is present.
Present, ma'am.
And Rajina is absent. Vijay is present. Gangotri is absent. Alka is absent, and Eklasha is. Okay, fine. Thank you so much for joining. I am ending the class now.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, ma'am.